All right, so got a little Canva for you guys with some graphics that I thought were pretty helpful. So a little bit of what we can do for our clients and just reporting what's happening in the housing market right now. So what I want you to do, okay, what I want you to do is as you see some of these graphics, I would love for you to, yes, I can get them to you. Yes, I can upload them to you. Yes, if you're in the car, I get it. If you are not traveling somewhere, please take a look at these. I would love for you to try to absorb it rather than like mainly just listen to me. Let some graphics speak to you because like the phrase says, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I would love for you to take a look at this. This first graph here, I want you to get the heart behind why we would share something like this. I want you to get the messaging to it. I want you to think for yourself, not because I told you, but I want you to think for yourself. Why should I share this? Okay? What would this gain for my business? And I want you to attach a feeling to it so that you will do it. Okay? The first thing here is the active housing inventory for sale on the market in comparison to pre-pandemic levels. So that's going to be like 2019. So what we compare here in this graph or in this chart is 2019, November 2019 to November 2024. Okay, there's a 5-year shift. And if you can see that housing levels are about the same, meaning before the pandemic, when all of a sudden, we had a huge shortage of housing all of a sudden, and it went down all the way till now. Where is it? Your market, I want you to see this, your market in Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island is very different. Look at the rest of the country. Yes, there are some areas here in this Northeast where housing is really short. Look over here where our friends are in Tampa. They've got a lot more inventory now for us. Friends in Texas. Okay, Utah, Arizona, Nevada. Plenty of counties where it is not as hot. Okay, so when you hear national news, you can see that there's a very big difference in between some areas, okay? So this is a very hot area of the country. So one thing that you could do is you could share this and you could say the Northeast remains very, like the housing market in the Northeast remains very hot. And then we could go into a couple of reasons why. Amazing schools, strong employment markets, not as many tract homes where we don't have huge, massive developments that they're building to try to build us out of it. I'm going to go into some of those, what we'd have to do to how many housing units we're short of in the country. But what you want to see is we have a huge, higher population density here and less land to work with in order to build. So out here, there's a little bit more availability. All right, that's the first one. I'm going to pause. If you want to interrupt me, please interrupt me. If you want to ask a question in between this, otherwise I'm going to move to the next one. Okay, next one. Active housing inventory for sale. So that's right now what's offered on the market compared to pre-pandemic levels. So same thing. Here's the metro shift. This is the number of active listings. Now, I really wanted to share this one because 2 of the areas that we service are directly mentioned on this. 2 of these are directly mentioned. So here they are. Here's Hartford. Look at us. We are probably the number 1 place in the country. Look at this. The number 1 place. Look at that. We are down 74% in the amount of available homes for sale. 74%. Now, Rhode Island right here, little sister state, ain't far behind. Rochester down 53%, Detroit down 41%. But If you look down to our friends in Tampa, they have more on the market now than they did in 2019 before the pandemic. So before the pandemic, you could go out, you could show a house, you go back the next weekend, you go take a look at it. You couldn't during the pandemic. There just wasn't enough houses. Everyone wanted to get out of apartment complexes, etc. Now it's back. It's returned. So what would I share? What could I possibly share? How could this help my business if I shared it? Well, many of you want listings. So let's think about that. Let me just break it down step by step. If I want listings, then I want to show, yes, the benefit of going on the market. There's not a lot of houses, but what's the big benefit? You're going to need an agent like me to help you find houses on and off the market. See where I'm putting this together? You need an agent when you're down 74%. It's easy to say, well, I don't really need an agent because there's a billion homes to look at and I can have my pick and I can go to every one of them. It's really challenging when you don't have a lot to choose from and you need help finding stuff that is not where, my friends? Active on the market. Okay, I know some of you are driving, but just in your head, I want that to sink in. I don't want to just share this because I want to tell people there's no homes for sale. What are they going to think? Well, I'm not going to list my house for sale. I'm not going to list my house for sale because there's nowhere to go. What I want to say is great opportunity for sellers who list now and take advantage of my services, which are going to help them find a house off the market. Yeah, I'll pause here as well before I go on. Questions? Dropping them in the chat. Comment, please. We got a couple to go through this morning.
Can I just make a quick comment, David?
Yeah, dude.
So I went out door knocking a little bit the other day, and no matter where you go, everybody, I guarantee you, on a one day of solid prospecting, you'll hear at least a couple of people say, hey, I'd love to move, but I don't know where to go. What does that mean? The opportunities are there. So we have to get in the habit of not saying, hey, there's not a lot available, because we're programming us to defeat ourselves. So there are so many opportunities because, number one, everybody raising their hand and saying, hey, I'd love to, but we just need to create it. And we have to get in the habit of saying, hey, there are so many houses available. We just need to make it available. We have to open it up. And that's what we're here for.
Sure, man. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. That's right. We can be a solution provider here. So again, like Adam's sharing with us, yes, if you look at that, you could be like, oh, there's nothing to choose from. Or a realtor will post that to be like, see, not a lot. Or like, they're going to think that like, maybe if I post that, a seller will be like, wow, whoa, what wonderful news. There's no inventory. My house price will go. Yes, you will get a great offer for your house. However, the next question that any rational seller is going to say, unless they're selling someone else's house or it's completely vacant or it's investment property, they're going to think to themselves, where am I going to go? Now, if you still struggle with that, I'm going to encourage you to still share and say, work with an agent like me, and then I will personally help coach you on how to help find houses off the market and work together with other agents and co-broke. A really great way is to meet other agents who are in this market right now. Reinvest is happening on Wednesday, and you're going to meet a ton of other agents outside of your brokerage. It is a great opportunity. Lou and Elise are hosting it. It's on Wednesday in Southington. Like, no excuse. It's so close. You go there, you go meet other agents. Go co-broke with them. What are they working on off market or on the team here? What do we got? So this is how you can make money with that post. Okay, here's the next one. Where inventory levels stand in the 200 largest metro markets compared to, so this is another one in comparison. But why you would want to look at this is to show that inventory is coming back in some areas. It's coming back in some areas, but in comparison, in comparison to the majority, we still have a shortage of housing. So 54 of the major markets, yep, they've got inventory back, but 146 do not. So why you might want to post this? This is a post that would go out and say, well, buyers, inventory is returning in some markets. Inventory is returning in some markets. Where are you looking to move to? Or sellers, where are you looking to move to? This is a great email for people who it's like moving outside of Connecticut, moving outside of Rhode Island, moving outside of Massachusetts. 54 of the major 200. DM me or reply back to this email and I'll send you a list. I'll send you a list. Now I want you to act in faith here, post that, and then if somebody does reply back to you, which they probably will, reach out to me. I'll send you what that list is. Okay. This is an interesting one. Couple more here, guys. Share of fully remote workers in America's 40 largest metro housing areas. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to share this is obviously we have a team in Providence, Rhode Island. Look at this. Providence, Rhode Island has the least amount of remote workers out of all states and out of all cities. Isn't that wild? This is a survey done that was, obviously still from last year, 2023. But it's the least amount of remote workers. It's incredible. Why is that important? Well, it has a lot to do with people who would travel in and move in from out of the area. If they're probably moving in, they're probably working in state. And so those people are not going to, they're going to want to know, hey, what are the local companies that are available, etc. Very cool list just to see the amount of remote workers. Connecticut, I didn't see any Connecticut on here, but worth a share if you're in Rhode Island. Okay, here's Zillow's forecast for metro level home prices between this October and next October. This October and next October. Circle size by number of active homes. If they believe that the market is going to cool, it is closer to red, which is weird, or go down. If they believe that it's going to increase, it will go blue. Our markets in the Northeast, all blue. All blue. They believe that it's still going to increase at least 5%. 5% in a whole year. I need to pause just so people can understand. 5%. Ready? I bought a house. This is so simple today. I promise you I'm not condescending. I promise you. I'm just breaking this down as simply as possible. If it's a $400,000 house, it's now worth $420,000 by the end of the year. I just bought it. Next year, same time, it's now a $420,000 house. Okay? So we're making this as simple as about, should I wait? Sure. Let's do some math. Go ahead to our resource center, grab the buyer weight, grab the seller weight spreadsheet if you want to, mess around with that. But your same house is going to be $20,000 more. Now, we just went over rates. If you're nervous about what, the rates might mean, come tomorrow. That's going to be mortgage. But if the rates really don't move much and they stay in the sixes, which pretty much everyone believes, then what are we going to wait for? The house prices to just go up? I don't think that that's probably the best idea. All right, we'll keep going here, guys. Almost done. So that's Zillow's prediction on what's happening with house prices. Okay. Now, some of these major markets down here, Austin, etc., those may cool a little bit. Okay. Those may cool a little bit just because they've been so hot lately and they've gotten some inventory back. Housing market is still short. So this is a perfect one to grab and just keep in your phone. I love having this handy. People saying, why is that? I just don't understand. Maybe I don't do good at teaching something. I had somebody over the other day, someone over the house the other day, and they were like, but David, why is the housing market like not cooling? Like at some point it's got to come down, right? And Molly was making dinner. She was like, oh boy, here we go. He'll give you a whole education as to that. And this is why. Look at it. Just screenshot this. Be the expert. Freddie Mac, if you came to my, last mortgage one, those are the guys buying up and backing mortgages. U.S. housing market is short 3.7 million housing units. 3.7 million housing units. So let's just do a little bit of thinking here. If I had 147 million houses and I have 150 or almost 151 million people or family units, whatever you want to define that as, looking to buy houses, that means that there's 3.7 million people who are vying for every active, well, respectively in your states and markets, but they're vying for those properties as soon as they come on the market. You've got a huge backlog of people. Now, a balanced market might be 150 million units available, 150 million people looking, right? Swapping. But if we're short, that means we need to start building more houses, and it's not going to correct until you can correct this. Otherwise, where are these people going? Okay, where are these people going? Now, I want to show you this. This is wild. Freddie Mac, hopefully you can see this. Housing shortage has delayed the formation of 1 million households. It's delayed the formation of them. Why is that important? Well, Freddie Mac estimates that there would be 1 million more households, call it families. I know that's like whatever. 1 million more families if the affordability strain caused by the housing shortage wasn't driving some Gen Z and millennials to live longer with their parents. This is no judgment whatsoever, but you know people who live with their parents, jaded, right? And if the, I'm kidding, but why?
I don't
James
care.
at that age,
I don't
right?
care
Like you're
about
gonna live with your parents. Smart to live with your parents. But there's people who are older living with their parents because they can't find a house. They can't. Which means that when you saw those 3.7 million and the shortage there, you would have even more of those who would enter into the marketplace. They're just trying to leave. The government knows this because the government would love to tax those million extra families. So when you think about it, is the housing market going to crash anytime soon, my friends? I don't have a crystal ball. Anything can happen. But the data shows we are short by 3.7 million homes. That's what's causing this housing shortage. Kristen, how would we get out of this? How could we possibly get out of this? How could it stop being a housing shortage? Let's just spitball here. Get our brains thinking on a Monday. Get those juices flowing.
I mean, more listings and also trying to find like more places where we could be building new construction.
Yeah, new construction for sure. And the new listings, what's funny about that is like if you have 47 million houses, if you list it, you've got 150 million people. So that's just like, yup, already did. They just traded. That's all they did. Someone's trading somewhere. So they can't just trade because the new people who haven't even formed want to get into that market. So does this make sense? I feel like that clicked for somebody. Like, oh, I listed my house. So did I. Cool, trade. That's it. It's just musical chair. But there's other people circling around. So how do you do it? Kristen's right. You got to build new stuff. New stuff. Well, can you also build enough rental properties? You can. You can build enough rental properties, which they're trying to do, because it's easier to build rental, because guess where you can go when you do rental? You can go up. Thank you. You can go up. And guess what? If we put enough rentals out there and collapse the multifamily market in rents, and it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy, then you can start having housing supply being eaten up by the multifamily market. However, how many people here have dogs or cats or pets? How many people here have children? How many people here have children and dogs and pets and cats? Yeah, that makes it a lot harder too for the multifamily argument to succeed. Okay? Apparently 70% of Americans, right, have the dogs and pets and cats and birds and mice and everything else. So, and that's just talking about my kids. The whole point being, can you just get out of this by building multifamily? Not necessarily. Can you get out of this by just waiting for housing prices to drop and interest rates to drop? No. You have to build. You have to build your way out of this thing, right? And right now, if the government should do anything, it is not give first-time home buyers more credits. It is not second best thing would be incentivize sellers to sell, which would actually get more listings, but then we'd just be trading y'all. FYI, might bring pricing down a little bit, but it wouldn't solve our housing problem. The best thing, this is what I'm suggesting out there, is I think they should incentivize home builders. I think it should be government loans at 0% to buy land and build new construction. If you're going to do that, that's what we're going to give you the credits for. Just my personal opinion. Interesting. All right, comments, suggestions. Who could take action on one of these things today? Who could? Somebody in the chat, just please put what you're going to do. While I'm waiting for that, I'm speaking on Wednesday at Reinvest. I'm pretty pumped. I hope to see you guys there. It is not only just a business planning session, it is a networking session. So yes, you get a day away, you get the business plan. This is a great time to check back in, but it's also an awesome time to connect with other people in your community. If you're into agent attraction, it's a great opportunity to invite people to be a part of it. Kristen says, drop the slides. You will get those. I will put all of those. So Kristen, yes. Michaela, reviewing some of these on my listing appointments. Ooh.
David, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Just the last comment you made about incentivizing developer. Is there a reason why the government hasn't even considered this? I mean, this has been going on for a while, I believe, especially now more than ever. Is there a reason why, or it's not a priority for them?
Michaela, Begum. I have my own opinions on the government. I've never known government to handle anything super well. You know, it's just a bunch of people all getting together and probably not operating in our everyday Main Street world. So, you know, I don't know. It's my own thing. I don't want to get too political or whatever, but it just seems like if you went for votes, what's it easier to do to explain? That we actually need to help home builders who some people really don't like build more, and they're mean and they're going to make money off of us. Like, do you get more votes off of that, or do you get more votes off of like, I've been trying to find a house for a while and I can't, and the government's like, well, with our administration, we'll give you 25 grand towards that, or we'll give you 50 grand towards that. Like, that's like, we like those guys, right? It just seems that way. Again, I'm not political. Believe me, both parties have done it. I took the 8,000 Obama tax credit. I was in it for Trump's low, interest rate. So like both sides, the whole thing, I get it. It seems like a really easy win to get more voters if you tell people I'm going to help you buy, but like then actually fix the problem, which is like, I got to just build my way out of this. So
what's your thought in regards to new construction on the affordability versus pre-existing homes? Because the cost of land is going up because there's also a scarcity there, and we can't make more land. That's the hard part.
Yes, ma'am. And that is why I feel like government intervention with the building process would probably be the best thing. Like if you're gonna like, okay, I'll put it to you this way. I don't mean to go into this too much, guys, and I have a coaching call at 9:30. If most new construction deals right now are operating at maybe 10% profit. So if you sell a $50,000 house, you're probably making 50 grand. That's what most will say. Go into the CT real estate investor groups. David Haberfield, who's speaking at Reinvest, he was like, I don't know anyone who can't operate that. It used to be 15% to 20%, which is like how you run a business. When margins are at 10%, think about this. Ready? 10%, you're making 50 grand, and then you have a self-employment tax of 30%, which is $15,000 comes, right? Excuse me, more than that. $15,000 comes off the top of that. You're making $35,000 that you get to pocket for yourself, and that's less, hoping no crazy unexpected things. And guess how long it takes you to build a house? 6 months from start all the way to finish. That's if you're cranking. So right? And you have to build into that cost of finance to hold it, cost of it just doesn't make sense. But if you just went from 50 grand and you took that buyer incentive of $25,000 or the time to own at one point of $50,000 and you incentivized the builder or bought the land cost down or eliminated financing costs or any of those things, now his 50 grand goes to 75, goes to $100,000. Guess who's cranking all day long? You'd start seeing developments like crazy. I don't know. DB for, whatever. Put me in charge of HUD. No, I'm just kidding. The whole point is, guys, is I think they need, look at Howie. They need to give builders tax incentives. Absolutely. They do. But it's harder to explain this, guys. It's much harder. Think about this. We are real estate professionals, and there's a lot of real estate professionals who are sitting in chats being like, they should really, right? So you got to solve the root problem. All right. I hope everyone has an amazing Monday. Please take action on this. I will post all of those slides into this daily huddle. I hope to see you guys posting away. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Vanessa, posting on socials and email. Amazing. Michaela in the listing. Adam committing to it. Really good stuff. All right, guys. Lots of love. We'll see you. Make it a great day. Get your Reinvest tickets.